In Russia, a sign that frustration with Vladimir Putin and his unprovoked invasion is growing. Deputies from 18 municipal districts in Moscow and St. Petersburg have now signed a petition demanding Putin's resignation, calling his actions, quote, detrimental to Russia's and its citizens' future. CNN's Fred Plaikin joins us. He's following the story from Berlin. Fred, this seems like a very serious and very rare rebuke from these officials.
Hi, Anna. I would certainly say that it's very rare, and it certainly is something that definitely is noteworthy as well, especially if you look at the state of the opposition in Russia right now, where many opposition officials, quite frankly, are in jail, have been sidelined, or have been exiled. Also, of course, the state of the Russian free media as well is one that is also dire. So just in that light, this is certainly something that is definitely noteworthy. One of the things that we do have to keep in mind that these are local officials, they're fairly low-level officials, and there's really not many of them who have signed this petition, but the fact that this is being done publicly at all is certainly something that is definitely noteworthy. And if you speak to some of the folks, Russian officials, if you speak also to some of the people in Kremlin-controlled media, you do really get a sense that there is a very muted, very difficult feeling there right now as this Ukrainian counteroffensive rolls on. What the Russians have been saying is they've been calling this a reorganization of Russian forces, but you do hear some pretty critical voices also, especially among people who are very close to Vladimir Putin and who have been supporting Russia's invasion of Ukraine as well. You look at, for instance, Chechen strongman Ramzan Kadyrov. He came out and he was absolutely angry, saying that mistakes had been made and that if things don't change, that he would take it up with the top leadership of Russia, meaning, of course, Vladimir Putin himself. So you do get the sense right now that Russia is hurting. They realize that it's difficult times that they're on right now. And certainly right now you can tell that they see that the operation that they're doing in Ukraine is definitely in a lot of trouble at the moment, Anna.
Although it seems that the Russian president is in denial, at least what he is vocalizing to his people there. Fred Plaikin, thank you for that reporting. Let's bring in retired Air Force Colonel Cedric Leighton. He's a CNN military analyst. And Colonel, Ukraine has now recaptured, I should say, well more than 1,000 square miles just in the last couple of weeks, according to Ukrainian officials. And I just want to point out on the map here, it's kind of up in this eastern region around Kharkiv. That's where Melissa Bell was. We also know Kherson has had some fighting and some gains by Ukrainians as well. What has changed? Why is this counteroffensive so successful?
Well, this is a huge deal, Anna, and the reason that this counteroffensive is so successful is because the Ukrainians have been able to take advantage of several things. One of them is the weapons that they've gotten from the West. The U.S. and other nations, especially NATO nations, have been able to deploy weapons very quickly, and they've used these weapons particularly in this area right here. Like you were pointing out, the Kharkiv region, Anna, this is the area where a lot of that has happened. They have also used some of them here down south, but the key thing to note about these areas is that this is really protecting Ukraine's second largest city. And the more that the Ukrainians can move forward in this direction and push the Russians out, the more likely the Ukrainians are to keep this territory and the less likely it is for the Russians to actually retake the territory.
Strategically, how important or crucial is this specific region?
So it is incredibly important, and if you look at this this area right here, so everything in Ukraine is basically divided by this river, the Dnipro River, running right through the middle of the country. Everything to the east is much easier, or at least was much easier for Russia to gain a hold of, because when they first started this, they were basically moving like this. They were moving into Ukraine from Russia, but they were unable to prosecute their advantage this way. And what this means is this area right here, the area around Kharkiv, and then this area down in through the eastern part, this area is so important from a resources standpoint, from an industrial standpoint, and it is in essence, with the exception of the agricultural regions which cover all of this area, the most important part of Ukraine from an economic standpoint.
I remember earlier when this invasion began, we talked about how Ukraine might have had the fighting spirit in a much greater amount than Russia, but that Russia had the numbers. However, that seems to have flipped. Russia says Ukrainian forces outnumbered them by 8 times in the counteroffensive in the east, although I don't think Russia has the same fighting spirit. So when I say it's flipped, I'm just talking about the numbers. Do you see this as a tipping point? Are you confident Ukraine will be able to hold on to this territory they regained?
I think they can do it. Of course, there are a lot of things that have to happen. So let's take a look at the Northeast in detail, Anna. And what you have is the area around Kharkiv, which is right over here. And then you have where Melissa was in Kupiansk, which is right here, right on the line between, right now, between Russian and Ukrainian forces. The Ukrainians were able to move in this direction. This is the Russian border right here. The Ukrainians can keep this if they continue to get the weapons from the West, and if the Russians continue to have supply chain failures. And if that continues to happen, then I'm reasonably confident the Ukrainians can keep this area.
Okay, Colonel Cedric Leighton, it's good to get this update. Thank you so much for offering your expertise and your insights